meetups as it is. I get it, and you know,
the end result is if you're going to do it, provide transparency way in advance, or if there's a voting or something that we can at least have some type of voice, so you know who's affected, would be helpful. But yeah, sorry guys, we need to start moving along because people do have to work tomorrow too.
Okay, my name is Al. This is something I would say, like for most of organizers that I know, we were happy that the maybe was eliminated, but also.
He's talking about there used to be, people could say maybe, as opposed to just yes or no on the meetup.
Yes, maybe. But also what happened is, some of us really excited we're going to create a meetup. And then as soon as we posted, and we see the no's coming in. And those no's, there are some organizers, they say they are discouraged by those no's. And also this also discourage other people to.
Oh, I know. When I'm an organizer,
people want to eliminate the no, have it only yes. We want to know who are coming, not who are not coming.
You know, I'm into that. I'm into that. You should, and do speak up on the user voice. On that.
Cool. Yes.
Hi, so I'm also a 40-year-old hacker like myself. My day job, I do fun stuff, but my spare time I run OAuth. My question actually concerns two things. First is with your OAuth for Gmail, have you given any more consideration to using two-factor authentication for meetups? Because I think a lot of people need to get there, whether they know that or not. They need to get
There's no plans for that, but you know.
An enhancement that would help lead or people could follow you opposed to. Yeah.
Do you feel like, well, okay.
Yeah, we'll talk.
You feel like it's that sensitive that you would want two
Absolutely.
step?
a lot of the
Actually, you know what? Most people probably don't care about this. So let's take this after.
And then the other one in front of the crowd here, I'd like to point out, I'm doing an event on November 20th for 2,500 members of my organization. I'd love to have you be a keynote.
Okay, let's talk.
Just go around. Looking at the next row. That.
Hi, I'm Julia, and I run 3 ski meetups with about 1,000 members.
All right.
And I'm very
Congrats on that.
very thankful for Meetup because it's one of the first times in my life that I've been able to influence who I want to meet. So for me, that's been a life-changing thing. Usually, especially in New York, it's sort of happenstance, who you happen to meet. But with Meetup, it's who I want to meet. And the reason that I love meeting the people that I want to meet is because there are certain things that I really love to do. And I find the people that I love to do it with. And one of them is I love to ski. I love to go on ski trips, especially
Is there a question? Only because.
Okay, with other women. And so when you meet the people you want to meet, you can help become whoever you want to be. They help you figure out who you are. So my only suggestion is to help me find more of those people that I like to meet. So I would like to get.
Should I email some people?
That's so much fun.
I'll do some and Willa do some.
So just get them for me through other mediums like Facebook and Twitter and all that, because I have no problems with your software, and I am not a software person at all.
Okay.
But I figured it out. I think it's easy.
So the question's essentially.
Twitter and Facebook, even though I'm on them.
So any plans on extending Meetup to promote more in the social aspect?
Well, we started to make it a lot easier, and there's a woman back there who's worked on it. Her name is Jimena. We want to make it easier for people to be able to invite, to target specific friends to invite to the meetup, to help your meetups grow in that way. But and I didn't answer also the question about advertising. We don't have. I hear it a lot, and we're hearing it more and more, and it's interesting. This question of how to. How does Meetup become more well-known? Should we be advertising more? Should we be advertising at all? And so I hear you on that.
Cool. Sorry, yes, you, sorry.
The thing, I'm sorry, let me just say, like, we should all be proud of this fact that, like, this whole thing, we went from nothing to the 54,000 joins in a day, and Saturdays always have like 100,000 people RSVP'd, not all showing up, but RSVP'd to meet up. And it all, how did that happen? That happened because of the kind of the incredible, energy that comes from the organizers and the people from your best members, and it's accelerating, and we're growing faster than ever, and so it's going to get more interesting, and which doesn't mean we shouldn't advertise, but we're all doing something right here.
I don't mean to advertise Meetup.
Okay.
Sorry.
Social.
Yeah.
To help me find those.
Find more. Got it.
Yep.
Julia, yeah, sorry.
Hi, my name is Mike. I run the Hoboken Social Sandbox. The recent changes that you made to RSVPs, so now when some person opens a message, just put it in the comment stream. People used to use that to do things like potlucks and organize carpools.
Right.
And a lot of the organizers are really upset that they no longer have that really capability. Are you planning on making new features to add that capability so they can do those kind of things on the event?
No, but we're paying a lot of attention to how people are using it and want to adjust it in ways that make sense for people. There is this case which is pretty infrequent, but I get this case of the potluck style, the carpool style.
People who, some meetups that use it a lot.
Yeah, I hear you.
A lot of people are actually dependent on that for certain types.
Yep.
One other suggestion, you mentioned about the telephones, the phone. People are speaking by phone. A lot of, I know I mentioned, but you mentioned it. But yeah, it would be very helpful if you have the display of the subtext of the meetup on the phone, because we have a lot of people just RSVPing without ever reading it. A lot of times there's more information on the events, and so it's causing a lot of problems. People never read the events.
It's interesting. Actually, this is enlightening. I don't think to those of us, there's a few of us in the room who are working on this stuff. I actually haven't thought much about that. Probably the team, the people working on it probably have, which is how the importance of the description when people are browsing meetups and being able to get that quick sense of it. So I hear you.
We talked a lot about that on the boards, which we just taken down.
Cool.
What about 1%?
So, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Frank, and I'm one of the organizers for Language Exchange NYC. And first, I wanted to start off with saying thank you, Scott, and all partners as well for giving everyone in this room the opportunity to lead others and foster community, which I personally enjoy. And the question that I have is, what is your vision for the company 5 years from now, and if it differs 10 years from now for you and the establishment?
Yeah.
Agree to that. Please try to keep it like within a minute.
We had about 45 minutes for this. No, the short version, and I'll just combine 5 and 10 years. Although before I do, Frank's meetup is awesome. I went to it. I popped in this past summer. It was only started in 2012. No, spring of 2012. I show up in late summer 2012. It was in Central Park, and I couldn't believe my eyes. It was this like 100 plus people in this spot in the park, all in groups of 5, 10, 15, all speaking different languages. So people just showed up in the park, and charges like $1, is it?
Yeah, it's only $1.
Yeah, and it's just exactly, sometimes, you just see, you just see, like, this is the way the world should work, like you should be able to show up in Central Park, and if you want to speak, you want to practice your Russian or practice your German, practice your Swahili, they're there, and it's like, and those people, thanks to you, they now can do it where they couldn't before you started it, and it was just such a sight. It was also one of those like just perfect summer days, in Central Park, and you all should check out his meetup. So yeah, basically,
5, 10 years.
we're this weird thing, which is a 10-year-old internet company that is acting, that is hungry and scrappy and acting in many ways like we're just a year old. And like I say, we're growing faster than ever. Where we want to be is a lot like where we are, except with a bunch of zeros added to the number of people that are feeling it and living it and really benefiting from the meetups. Where the company, it's really important for us that we don't disrupt our ability to just make it easier and faster and better and help people connect more easily. And so many companies have a lot of things get in the way of that. Whether that's the ownership structure of the company or its need to maximize revenue or whatever it is. The idea here is how can we call it a meme. It's a meetup everywhere about most everything. What if wherever you go, what if everywhere in the world, within miles and within days, you can show up about anything that you're interested in, something that you find yourself passionate about or diagnosed with or whatever it might be, and people are welcoming and friendly, and there's a meetup about it. And it's not so complicated, and it's a simple vision, but that's what we're trying to pull off. And I think that I really, guys, all write down somewhere and file it away. Put down on your calendar. March 26th. Let's see, 2018, and look at what we're all doing about how every city is a better city because everyone has this ability, this access to the other people that they can go and they can meet up, and these communities are not just events. Also, these communities are really these vibrant, not necessarily top-down institutions, but these powerful, true communities, and that's what we're trying to pull off. As for the company, whatever it is that lets us enable that, we don't want to be a huge Facebook or Google in terms of the footprint of the company, but we do think that everyone on Earth, at different points in their life, has this need for their career to be better or their life to be better, or they want to get healthier, or whatever it is, and that's what we're here for.
Are you okay with taking some more?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. So I'm gonna skip.
Thanks
over.
for shutting me up.
Yeah, no worries.
Holly,
Hi.
I run a really small group called Silly Date. My question
Silly day?
Silly Date.
Date, okay.
The question's about content and SEO optimization and how important that is to Meetup, because I imagine a lot of people find new members because they're already Meetup members. And, within get pushed content and they're interested in a group because they're already in the Meetup ecosystem or whatever you want to call it. But a lot of my events are more event-based, meaning one-time only type of things, theater events that I like to go to and stuff. And so I wouldn't say a lot of them, but I get a lot of Meetup members that aren't in Meetup that search on Google and see an event that they want to go to and they see Meetup attached to it, like, well, maybe I'll join it because I want to.
So what's the question?
The question is, there seems to be an emphasis on future events rather than past events, and is that a deliberate thing within Meetup to hide
in terms
past
of
events?
from a search perspective?
Yes.
I don't think there's any intent there. And actually, I guess we should maybe look at that because maybe people will discover a meetup because by looking at past events, past meetups. So that's interesting. But overall, it is very important for new people to discover Meetup in general. In fact, guess how many people yesterday joined Meetup? Not a particular Meetup group, but became brand new registered Meetup members yesterday.
In the U.S.?
And worldwide.
Worldwide?
Although we're 75-80% U.S. the whole thing, but
5,000.
actually you said 15?
15,000.
That's it. So 15,000. So, and a lot of that does come from search, and so that's important. But yeah, no. So there's a lot of people, and you know, a little interesting, you know, trivia is that we're spending a lot of time focusing on, and I hope some of you are realizing the benefits from this. We learned that if people have a really good experience in the first 5 minutes, they're more likely to be engaged, active, better members of the meetups, you know, for a long time. And so we're, you know, it's a little fun thing. Find a friend who's not on Meetup at all, and watch them sign up for Meetup for the first time, and you'll see that it's getting really, really interesting and good. This is the kind of stuff you never see because you're already on it. But this is the kind of thing we spend a lot of time on, because ultimately those, you know, so that those people find their way to your meetups.
So, next one.
I'm Nicole Myers. I have 2 meetup groups that are sister groups, I consider. One is a meditation group in New York City, and the other is nature and spirituality day trips out of New York City. So they help each other.
By the way, your voice is so good. I just feel like I'm getting into a meditation state, just hearing your voice. It's
We
great.
did a relaxation series. In fact, I'm putting that up on the free audio. So I have 2 things. One is the ad, which people have been saying, and we found that some people in the original part of our group, people from wonderful people like from Iran and other people from different places of the world, found out about Meetup through a Subway ad. And I think that's really important, because I think we're really...
Wait, I'm sorry, how often did you just heard like that a couple times? Or,
No, it's just at the beginning of the Meetup when we started 2 years ago.
Right,
There were
okay.
people arriving through that ad, and they keep on saying that, and I never have seen an ad.
Yeah.
But I know that these are the most terrific people I know, and, you know, the NYU students, and, you know, I think there's a whole sector of the population. And that has a little bit to do with, so I'm encouraging that, because if you want, you're talking about reaching the whole world. So I want to talk about reaching the whole world. My group, which is based on Theo's message, is in the whole world. It's in, 82 countries. And so a lot of people ask, well, how do you meet people, Nicole? And I talked about the meetup, and they say, well, I'm in Chile. In fact, I'm going to Chile for 2 weeks.
So sorry, is there a question in there?
Oh, there's a question, yeah.
Okay, just try to keep it within like 30 seconds, because...
It is almost like 30.
Okay.
Yep.
So in Chile, for example, they have a meetup. In Argentina, they have a meetup, and there's a lot of these groups that they would be interested in. But the people on the meetup are in like finance, they're professional people, they're business people. They have nothing to do with building community in the level that we're talking about.
The people or the meetups?
The people, and they can't find, there's nobody in that, it's not promoted there in the world that's outside the financial world.
So you're looking for additional advertising to meet
Well,
a
I
bigger
know that,
market.
just promoting it there,
Yeah.
because I have
So-
people who would
so
use it, but they've gone on.
Just to
because
go
there's
quickly, so
nobody there.
any intentions on doing more marketing?
There's no current plans, although I'll let you in on something. We're going to hire. We have no communications department, no PR department, no marketing department, no. We do certain marketing type things, but basically we are going to be building a small team to make sure that the communications, PR, and that sort of thing is really good. But I hear you. You know, one thing that we really want to try to do is make sure that whenever someone joins Meetup from anywhere in the world, they really get they get what it's about. Which currently sometimes you can join Meetup and you just think, oh, this is some like random Eventbrite kind of event site thing, you know, as opposed to the heart and soul of what it is. And so maybe they get in the right context.
There's
And
people
so
there
I hear
that
you.
love to do it, but
Yeah.
they don't, it's like, how do you
so-
get to all these other
So
people that are
let
joining?
me just move on. And so potentially marketing in the future, careers.meetup.com. Next.
My name's Alan. I run a trivia group and a movie group up in Connecticut.
All right.
Both
Thanks for
which
coming
took
down.
over after previous organizers left, which means I've got a lot of members that have been around since the early days of Meetup before I was on.
Yeah.
And I recently, in the past week, came across two things, and I know, especially when you said about meeting new neighbors. I'm just kind of wondering what the concept behind two things that I found that are problems to meeting people. One is I went to send out an email to all members of my movie group and discovered that there's been a change that I probably missed on the message board because I wasn't really active on them. That instead of being able to email all members, I can now only email those members who would like to hear from me. And I said, okay, well, let me see who those people are. So I pulled up the membership list, the Excel form I can bring in. That option's not on there. So I have about a free.
The option to see who's getting your email.
Who's getting the organizer. And the thing is, it's a 325 person group, smaller than some of the groups here.
Yeah.
But I have 13 people reply to a poll I posted. As far as I know, those are the only 13 people that know there's a poll.
So I guess, yeah, the question is essentially,
So, what?
is there a way to identify the ones that are now active
Well, I'm
or
just
opting
wondering
out?
why that change was made, if the whole thing's about meeting people, but seeing
Sure.
something that actually
Well,
communicates.
the one thing I can tell you is that first, very, very, very few people are opting out. So you might think that a lot of people are not getting your email or are not being sent to your email. I can't speak, I don't know about your specific meetup, but it's a very small percent of people who are making that choice. But the broader thing that I feel for you. That sucks. I've been there where you send a poll and you only get a few answers. I hear you. That sucks. But ultimately we have to respect the needs of we have to respect the needs of members, because there's a lot of people who don't want the organizer blast emails, but do participate, but do RSVP a lot, for whatever weird reason, and it's just that there's one of the biggest themes that we're out to do is to let people be in more. How many of you get too much meetup email in general? We sent over 300 million emails last month. So it's really important that we let people have control, so that because this is so fascinating. I'll shut up after this. What we have found, it's really, really interesting. We have the fascinating data that so many times when people get less email, they're more involved and more engaged and more. So we really just want to, have this case where there might be people who don't want your email blast, but they want this, and they're going to be great members.
I can look at the list and I can see who gets the individual emails and who gets the digest.
Yeah,
But
it might be. Well, so let's talk to Andrea after, because it may be. When the other thing is, we're always going to keep our promises in general as a company, and when we promise to, I don't know whether this is the case or not, but it may just be that we have promised members that we're not going to divulge whether or not they've turned off your notice or not. So, it's this balance of just keeping promises and letting people be in control, and ultimately knowing that will kind of create the best thing. But I hear you that.
I'm just thinking that for me, when I had 13 out of 300 members reply to the poll, if I knew I only sent that to 15 people, I'd say, wow, 13 out of 15, I'm awesome. Versus 320 people are getting that, and only 13 really have to say.
So that is an idea. I would throw that into user voice, that we should display the number of opt-out people.
Can you take one more?
Yeah.
So first of all, I really want to.
This is where
This is where it's at.
Yeah,
we're making a revolution here.
Yeah,
Why
right.
should I leave at 8:35? But I know, but you're not. I'm sorry. Well, if I won't think it's rude if you walk out right now because you got to be somewhere. So don't think that I'm.
So yeah, we really do appreciate it, right? I mean, to have someone like his status P here and take everyone's questions, really, really do appreciate it. So as I'm continuing to go around, I'll get to you at the end. Yes, go ahead.
Really, I swear, if you leave it, you're not being rude.
I just started a group on Sunday called Group Fest. We had it's tiny, still like 200 we got in a week. New members.
Wait, I'm sorry. You started in a week ago and it has 200 members. That's not.
Wow.
Very good.
promote other people's
Hmm.
meetups, and I don't see any convenient way to do that.
Shared meetings.
Oh, yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that would be a good way to have internal advertising, even if, I mean, we're trying to.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That, yeah, and actually even Nestor asked me about that earlier. We are not working on it now, but it's something that is a great idea. This idea of how can you have joint meetups? How can meetup groups, promote other meetup groups within their meetup group? That kind of thing. It's a pretty exciting future to be able to do that, but not in the immediate term.
Fun.
Vote on that on the user voice. Sorry. Yeah, Fong.
3 questions, okay?
Let's just do the best one. Let's just do the best one.
Yeah, okay, the first, I would say, Scott, what do you think is like missing in Europe as a meetup? What do you think, like, is a meetup that doesn't exist, but it should exist? I'm reading like a meetup and considering doing like a personal branding one, just where, it's a session and just helping people, because I'm behind the scenes networker, so I'm helping people out and just represent.
So the meetup that is missing in New York City, that is
Which won't be after about 30 seconds.
is the 2 to 2.5-year-olds within 3 blocks of my apartment.
You'd be arrested.
That's the one I really want. So go for it, Fawn.
And sorry, just this is going to take the last one. Was that the question?
And by the way, I don't mean to. There's so much opportunity. It always, you always see these like new meetups, like this woman's meetup. I don't know what it's really about, but like, there's such an insatiable need. Even though like nearly like probably like 10% of New Yorkers are a member of a meetup now, but which is a big number, but it still means 90% are not. There's so much opportunity for interesting stuff. But my answer is the true answer, and there is an important takeaway there, which is it's awesome. The meetup I started is 30,000 members. That's great, but some of the best meetups are like 20, 30, 40, 50 people, and are just perfect for what they are for people to find the others, and those are some of the best.
So, last question? You?
Yes, I noticed there's no Google properties in your featured social networking choices. You have Flickr, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We've been posting videos to YouTube and started doing G+ Hangouts on air to live stream our meetings. And Google+ is generally one of the favored social networking sites in the Linux and open source communities. Is there any chance you would consider Google+ and YouTube as social networking options for?
Yes, we honestly haven't touched. Do you know what he's talking about? He's talking about like when people can list their other, like their accounts on other things. We really have not touched or paid a lot of attention to that, but we probably will sometime this year do a kind of an effort on making that good, because it's not very good right now.
Cool. Well,
that would be cool if you can like really easily see people. As you can see, one of the priorities we are working, we have a lot of focus on. Is how people can see who are these people, and one way you can really get to know who a person is by easily seeing their YouTube videos and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll get there.
So Scott, it's really been a pleasure.
Great, yeah, thanks, Will.